this is in Jersey Village, Texas, which is northwest of Houston. Our crew sent in this video earlier this morning from the daylight showing where this happened. What we know is that in a vehicle there at that house that you're looking at right now at the moment, Heidi's body was found inside the trunk of a car. That's, again, coming from her mother, who talked to NBC earlier this morning about that. We also are hearing that we're waiting to hear from the Harris County medical examiner at the moment to officially confirm that it was Heidi's body. But we also received helicopter video from the NBC station in Houston. And if you want to take a look there on the street, you can see a lot of different news vehicles there. There's our KXAN van. But the house in question is the one with the red door right there, kind of in the center of your screen. The helicopter's coming into view there as all those different news crews are there. We have found out that Austin police, as well as several other law enforcement agencies, went there yesterday. We do not know yet what tipped them off, what took them to that particular house. And we are working with Austin police to try to find out that information at the moment. But again, you're looking at helicopter footage taken by the NBC station in Houston. They are flying over that house a little bit earlier this morning. And that house right there with the red door is where the body of Heidi Broussard was found in the trunk of a car. This obviously was not the news that we hoped to share.
Hey guys, want to welcome you back to JS for Justice. We are waiting for the news conference to begin. We're just getting updates from Will Dupree. Good afternoon, everybody. Wow, look at you guys. I got a little nap. But I'm here. Oh, so we have a mugshot. See what I've missed? Okay, hold on. Turn him down for a minute. So we have Megan Rose Firamuska. Now, you guys, this is the first I'm seeing her mugshot. So, wow. She looks way different than she did in some pics. Holy. Okay, is one channel better than the others, you guys? She does. She looks like a dude. I was like, whoa. Yeah, we're going to watch it. We are watching it right here. Although it hasn't started on this channel yet. So what channel are you guys watching? I'll tune into yours if you've got it going already. So she had her hearing today, from what I'm understanding. Okay. Thank you, Gypsy. KVUE. Okay, hold up. KVUE.com. I'm getting there, you guys. This other one never starts on time. I don't know why. But here we go. Suspect in custody.
I got him. Okay, they're coming.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming out for an update on the investigation into the missing mother and child from here in Austin. I appreciate your patience in waiting for this briefing today. I want to introduce a few of the folks that are here with me that will be speaking at this press conference today. I have Special Agent in charge of the FBI, Christopher Combs. I have Margaret Moore, the Travis County District Attorney. With us representing DPS is Todd Snyder, who is the Regional Director, and then Austin Police Department Detective Brad Harries. I want to identify at the beginning of this press conference that we will go against our standard practice of taking questions at the end of this press conference because this is still a very active and ongoing investigation. We have multiple teams of investigators that are at different jurisdictions as we speak in this room today that are still investigating this case. So we are going to give you all of the information that we can share at this point. We understand there is a tremendous amount of interest in this case, but we're going to give you all the information that we can, and we commit to you that we will give you updates as we can without impacting the integrity of this investigation. It is heartbreaking circumstances that bring us here today. As you all are well aware that there has been a lot that has developed in the overnight hours. This all began back on December 12th when 33-year-old Heidi Broussard and infant daughter, 2-week-old baby Margot Casey, were last seen as they dropped off their sibling and their son at school, and we have been investigating their disappearance since that time. On Tuesday, APD Detective Harries gave a very thorough briefing to the media on what had been developed at that point through the investigation, and there's a lot that has happened since that time. Most notably, the events that took place out in the Houston and Harris County area overnight and into the early morning hours today. Detective Harries will give you a briefing here momentarily, updating the specifics of what took place. But what we will confirm at this point is that we did recover an infant female child that we do believe at this time is Margot. However, we are awaiting the results of DNA testing to confirm that identity, and that testing may take us between 48 and 72 hours to get that confirmation. Additionally, we recovered the body of an adult female. We do believe that this is Ms. Broussard. However, again, we are awaiting the results of the autopsy to confirm her identity. We do have one person that has been arrested and charged. The charges that have been filed at this point are 2 charges of kidnapping and 1 charge of tampering with a corpse. We are not confirming the identity of the suspect at this time. I do understand that there are pictures being circulated and names being circulated in the media. However, we're not going to confirm, again, to protect the integrity of this ongoing investigation. There may be additional charges that are filed in this case as the investigation carries on, and that will be determined as we develop more information and uncover more evidence. This was a tremendous undertaking by many different divisions that I will recognize before Detective Harries comes up and gives a briefing. Several units from the Austin Police Department participated in this investigation, to include our Homicide Division, our Missing Persons Division, our Special Investigations Unit, our Robbery Unit, our Violent Crimes Task Force, our Organized Crime Division. The Texas DPS Rangers were involved, the Travis County District Attorney's Office, the FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team, their CARD squad was here, Texas Parks and Wildlife, Travis County Search and Rescue, and Child Protective Services, all pulled together to work on this case. Again, everyone hoping for an outcome different than the one it appears that we had, and that is with a loss of life. And although we are grateful that it appears as though we have safely recovered baby Margot, again, we do believe that Ms. Broussard lost her life in this incident. Detective Harries will now come up and give you a briefing on the events that have taken place in this investigation over the past 24 hours.
Good afternoon. My name is Brad Harries. I'm a detective with the Austin Police Department Cold Case Homicide and Missing Persons Unit. I'm going to go through a brief timeline of the events that have happened in the past 7 or 8 days. This is not all-inclusive. On Thursday, December 12th, 2019, Heidi Broussard, she's a 33-year-old white female, and her 2-week-old baby, Margot, were last seen dropping off Heidi's 6-year-old child at his school at Cowan Elementary. Heidi and Margot are believed to have returned to their residence in the area of William Cannon and South First at approximately 7:30 in the morning on December 12th. The complainant arrived home, found that Heidi, his girlfriend, and Margot, his daughter, were not home. As the day progressed, the complainant went to pick up their 6-year-old child from after-school activities and found that Margot was not there. The complainant became alarmed and contacted the Austin Police Department along with friends and family trying to find the location of his girlfriend and daughter. The Austin Police Department was contacted at approximately 7:31 p.m. on December 12th. Officers on scene began an investigation. They searched for them both there in the complex, conducted preliminary investigations, and contacted me that evening on December 12th, 2019. At that time, a BOLO was issued. That's a be on the lookout within our department. Both were entered into national and statewide databases as missing, and their information was dispersed throughout the community using a reverse 911 system that reached over 4,000 people in that area. Their images and descriptions were released to the media later in the morning of December 13th, 2019. We utilized various resources and legal processes in the attempt to locate Heidi and Margot. This has been an ongoing process with numerous warrants that have been approved and executed in the search for them. We have spoken with family, with friends, with coworkers, with neighbors. We have canvassed the areas that we know them to have been in. We have done video canvasses of any areas that we have believed them to have been in. We conducted video surveillance in association with some of our federal and statewide partners. We have done extensive video collection, online and social media research, interviews, phone calls, and these investigations have gone across Texas and gone across out-state lines. NCMEC, one of our partners, released a nationwide flyer with images depicting Margot and Heidi. As we progress through this investigation, local, state, and federal partners followed tips and leads that were provided by the public. We received numerous calls to our tip lines, notifications online, of various tips of people who thought they had seen Heidi or Margot, had information related to their location, and those tips were vetted and explored and investigated fully. As the week progressed, this current week, a lead was generated that created a location of interest in the Houston area in Harris County. Federal, state, and local resources deployed to that area of Harris County and began to investigate a residence there. Ultimately, those investigators encountered an individual outside of that resident who was detained on Thursday, December 19th, 2019. As the evening progressed, a search warrant was issued for property at that residence, both vehicles and the residence. Those search warrants were signed and were carried out by the Austin Police Department, Department of Public Safety, and with assistance from the Federal Bureau of Investigation as we conducted those searches. During that search, we located a baby who is currently safe, currently healthy, who is currently in the care of Child Protective Services. That child's visual appearance is consistent with that of baby Margot. As the search continued, officers located a deceased adult female on the property. And as Chief Manley said earlier, early indications would lead us to believe that that is Heidi. The property in Houston continues to be an active scene. We are investigating multiple locations between Austin and Houston and in the surrounding areas. With the assistance of the FBI, state-level partners with DPS, the Texas Rangers, and the Harris County Sheriff's Office. The Harris County Medical Examiner's Office is conducting an autopsy today of the deceased adult female to determine the cause of death, determine the manner of death. And as that information is released to us investigators, we will continue our investigation of this event. As Chief Manley said, an arrest has been made in this case. The charges are 2 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of tampering with a corpse. The total bond for the 3 charges is $600,000. That person is in custody as we speak. As I've said, this is an ongoing and active investigation. If you have any information related to the disappearance of Heidi Broussard or her 2-week, now 3-week-old daughter, Margot, we ask that you contact the Austin Police Department at 512-974-5250. Yes, last name Herries, first name Brad, B-R-A-D, and I'm a detective.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christopher Combs. I'm the FBI Special Agent in charge. It's been a horrible week here in Austin. We had all prayed that we would be able to find Heidi alive. Unfortunately, as the chief expressed, we don't believe that is the case. We are very thankful, though, that through the combined efforts here, we were able to recover baby Margot, and the baby seems to be in very good health. I know everybody asks, how do we do these things? How are we able to do that? Some of that, we can't discuss openly right now because it's ongoing, but I just wanted to stress that these recoveries happen because of dogged police work, where the Austin Police Department, their missing persons unit, has done an incredible job in combination with the Texas Rangers and with the assets that the FBI was able to bring to bear. It really is through that partnership of those agencies, with a lot of other help from a lot of other agencies, that we were able to recover that baby, which really is one of the greatest things I think we could do is to save a child. One of the things we brought to bear in this particular case is something called the FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team. These are national teams that the FBI has around the country that we deploy at the request of our state and local partners whenever a child is abducted. We were able to bring that team here to Austin and work next to the detectives and the Rangers to bring this case to closure and to recover that child. The CARD teams were developed back in 2006, and through this investigation, they've deployed 167 times. What that team really brings to bear is that expertise of being through so many of these abductions, knowing how they work.
Moore. I'm like Special Agent in Charge Combs. I wish we had completely good news today, but I am proud of the efforts that have taken place here. I think it's a demonstration of the dedication of law enforcement and the DA's office that we spend.
Many-agency, multi-agency.
I think it's a demonstration of the dedication of law enforcement and the DA's office that we spend. Once the call came in, we were working on it 24/7. I want to commend the dedicated lawyers in my office, 2 of whom are standing here with me today. We established a major crimes hotline when I took office, and these attorneys take on this responsibility in addition to their regular duties, so they are on call 24/7. And we got this call. They've been working day in and day out with law enforcement to assist in getting the papers that were needed to conduct the searches and additional charges. I always feel very privileged to work with these dedicated individuals, and I'm also pleased to be able to tell the citizens of this county how collaborative and thorough law enforcement is as we
Special Agent in Charge, Christopher Combs, will do individual. If you have questions regarding the CARD team and their operations, but I will reiterate that it is only about the CARD team and their operations, and no questions regarding the investigation or the. Well, again, for coming out, for covering this, and we are committed to giving you information when we can. Thank you.
Ryan Manley wrapping up the press conference at Austin Police Headquarters today. Heidi Broussard, I believe, found dead in Houston. An autopsy underway right now to confirm her identity. They did believe to find.
Okay, guys. I think it's over, right? It's over. So they haven't confirmed who they arrested. They did not confirm that. However, we know that it was Megan. This is just crazy. So we'll be getting more updates, I'm sure, as they're doing the autopsy today, I think he said. No, it's not frozen. I just turned it down. Let me see if I can't play it again, maybe. So, do we know who lives at this house with Megan? Do we know this? Yeah, I can replay it. They're still talking. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you so much. Yeah, if everybody can join the Facebook group. Oh boy. If everybody can join the Facebook group, the podcast group, that would be wonderful. Yeah. Thank you, Cinderella 56. So Chris Green owns the house. All right. Links to what? He bought it 5 years ago, and she has lived there about 1.5 years, according to neighbors. Wow. You guys have... Thank you, Michelle 1. You guys have all the scoop. One person has been arrested right now. So maybe whoever else lives in that house also is the one who maybe tipped them off. They're hoping to have positive ID for Heidi by close of business day today. Yeah, especially with it being a Friday. Chris Green reported Megan to CPS for mistreating the baby. He's an investigator, former. I did not know that. That I did not know. All right, let me see if I can get this to replay on another channel. Not sure why her mother can't identify. I can't answer that, but I'm sure you can probably imagine. Right? The question is, can you rewind on Facebook or no? If anybody's speaking in here as fact, like about Heidi or anything her family's doing, if you can please state like your relationship with them so that we know who we're talking to. Because a lot of people come in and say things and claim to know things, and then it ends up not being true. So we need to have you verify how you know her in order for that to be taken, seriously. The mother, I did, okay, the news said that. Megan is a wedding planner, or was a wedding planner. I don't think she's ever going to plan another wedding in her life. Do you? I don't think. I'm sure she'll be reunited with her dad soon. If she hasn't already. I mean, I don't know if they're going to give us like the 411 on that baby like immediately. Because if you think about it, they may not be giving out that information. Her prison wedding, yeah. She can do jailhouse weddings. I sure can't find this again to replay it. Oh, I can't pull up Periscope on this computer. I don't even have it on here, or I would. Oh yeah, it was said that her mom contacted the news. YouTube KVUE live. Okay, let's go there. Go back to KV. KVUE. This has been a crazy 24 hours, hasn't it?
If you don't get there in time, it will be a massacre.
That's my buddy. I just was.
Google
Thank you,
Fi, a
Casey.
phone plan by Google. If Extreme Santa made a phone plan, he could snap and share his endless bag of tricks. Nice, nice. Send
Someone
it.
gave me a shout
With
out on
unlimited data
KVUE
for as low as
stream.
$45
One of
per
the
month, with a little
anchors?
help from Google Fi.
You have to keep in mind, this happened late last night and early in the morning that they found the body and the baby.
Right, we're still waiting on the autopsy, and you heard
Right.
Austin police stress that, you know, this investigation continues, more charges could come. There may be other people involved, they're not ready to say, but they're still interviewing a lot of people, and I thought it was interesting, they're still doing a call out for help. You know, you might see our coverage today and think, okay, you know, mom and baby have been found, story over, but Austin police say, hey, still call us. We need tips, we need information to continue to build this case. Something tells me all their questions are not answered.
Right, well, and you heard the Detective Harris from Austin PD say during this press conference that investigators are still looking at multiple locations between Austin and Houston.
I heard that. That was interesting. It made me wonder where else besides, because we've been focused on this house. We know they had a search warrant to go in. We know they were there overnight, but where might they be searching between Austin and Houston?
Right, where did this murder take place? Did it happen in Harris County? Did it happen in Austin and her body was just driven here at some point? What is the involvement of the man who lives in that home in Harris County, who owns the home and lived there with the woman under arrest?
Yeah.
Where is he? Is he not involved at all in this?
I did have a chance to discuss law enforcement sources this morning, and they told me he so far was fully cooperating with the investigation.
Google Fi, a phone plan by Google. If a winter traveler made a phone plan, he could share all of this with everyone back home in this. Get high-speed data abroad at no extra charge with a little help from Google Fi.
So we know they're beginning their interview process with her, right? But just because she says one thing, right? Heidi's not here to tell her part of the story. Margot certainly can't. So we know that they can't just take this woman's story as fact either. They have to go and then verify it against all these different people and try to figure out, okay, how did this happen? What is the motive? And that may be one reason we did not hear them share those details.
Right, and let me run down a couple of things here that we're kind of stating that Austin police did not confirm during that press conference, and I'll tell you why we're saying what we're saying. We're identifying the body found in the trunk of that vehicle you're looking at there, that silver car behind the house, as Heidi Broussard. Austin police said it appears to be her, but the medical examiner will confirm. We're saying it is because Heidi's mother has told our affiliates in Austin it is her. They're doing DNA testing right now, could be 48 to 72 hours on the child found inside, to confirm it is Margot Carey. We're saying it is because Heidi Broussard's mother says it is. And Austin police are saying that child initially appears to be, based on what she looks like, what she was wearing, appears to be Margot, but Heidi's mother says it is. So that's why we're stating that, because grandma says that is her granddaughter that was found in the house and her daughter who was found in that vehicle deceased. So, and as far as the suspect's name that Austin PD is not naming, we know her name because she has been booked into Harris County, into the jail. And I have that right here in front of me with her bond amount and her name and all of that. So there she is, Megan Rose Firamusca.
And interesting that she's charged 2 counts, right? 2 counts of kidnapping,
right.
1 count of tampering with a corpse. So again, you know, those are the charges now. We're still waiting, right, for her initial appearance here in Harris County?
Well, she did appear.
Oh, she did?
She
Okay.
did. Well, she appeared earlier, and we can show you that video here. Yeah, Jaime's going to bring that up. So there she is in probable cause court just a couple hours ago, but they brought her up to the magistrate on traffic tickets, outstanding traffic citations here in Harris County, 6 of them. And it was, I mean, just the most minor stuff you can imagine, $50 fine type stuff. And she was let off with time served on those. So the only thing I'm going to assume is that's just something they had to clear off the docket because she's in Harris County and she's under arrest. Let's get these out of the way. There's no jail time. There's no jail time. There's no
Law enforcement sources have told me they're eager to extradite her back to Travis County. I mean, they want to, again, that's where the case originated, out of Austin, and that's where, you know, the case will continue. But again, because she was arrested here in Harris County, that's why we're seeing her making her initial court appearances here. But it'll be interesting to see, you know, what's next for her.
Do you know if that's, in the cases you've covered here, is that a fairly simple process if you're charged in one county in Texas to be sent up to another county in Texas and those charges just go with you?
Yeah, I think, you know, I don't think they're going to have any trouble extraditing. I mean, it'll just, you know,
county to county.
Right. It's obviously
but as far as the
Travis
charges, I mean, she was charged
and Austin,
here.
You
she was charged here. Yet, you know, it sounds like Travis County wants to handle
I think
this.
it's procedural, Russ. You know, I think
the holder.
Well, procedural in the fact that they're getting those traffic tickets, maybe any outstanding warrants or any outstanding court cases here. That way, there's nothing in the way of the possible extradition.
And the last thing we've been able to see, as far as her physical location right now, was the inmate processing center here in Harris County. And as far as we know, she has not been transferred anywhere else, including to Austin, to Travis County yet. But it is possible, and we're staking out the exits there with cameras to see if, you know, they whisk her away. But the way I understand it, cars come and go from there a lot.
They do.
And they're unmarked a lot of the time.
They are.
And it's possible she could have been in the back seat of a car that left there and we didn't see it. So
yeah, well, we'll make some calls. We'll try to confirm that, because we know that they would likely move her today if they could. But again, the law enforcement sources we're talking to did tell us to expect her initial court appearance here in Harris County. So it'll be interesting to see if, you know, this was the last time we see her, or if, and they'll move her right away and do the other charges up in Travis County, or if, you know, they'll do that all down here. From my understanding, again, it seemed like everything would happen here initially and then extradite her.
And we apologize for the quality of this video, but the way it works there is we're not physically in the room, we're not allowed to be, so we're taking pictures of a video screen, and that's why it looks as it does, especially when you zoom in. But she never lifted her head up for as long as she was there until she was called upon, and that was about 30 seconds, and off they went. They were moving on to the next person. Jaime, do we have any questions coming in from folks watching digitally that want to ask us anything?
Some were asking about the, when they discovered the body at this home, if we have any word about how long she had been dead.
That's a great question.
Well, the medical examiner will be able to figure that out. The autopsy is underway right now, and that's one of the primary things the ME does, right, is figure out how long that person's been deceased based on, you know, what they're able to know by the condition of the body.
And I think, Russ, you made a good point. We don't know where she died. We don't know if it was in this house here in Harris County or if it happened somewhere else, and this is where she was found. That's all we know right now, is she was found in the trunk of this car in the home in Harris County. That's a good question.
It makes me wonder when you hear investigators are looking at several other locations between here and Austin, that other things happened along the way that they need to look into. Now, it could have just been stopping for gas, but it could have been something much worse. We just don't know.
Right, and in cases like these, surveillance video is always, you know, some of the best pieces of evidence that investigators go after. We know even if you're stopping for gas, there's cameras everywhere, right? And so they'll use surveillance out their timeline, certainly as they're building this case to prepare for court.
Anything else? I see another question up there. Why not name the suspect? And they must be talking about Austin PD not naming the suspect.
Correct.
I found that interesting. If someone's been arrested and booked,
it's public record.
It's public record, and yet they didn't want to name her publicly. I'm not a detective, so I'm not going to question, why they're doing what they're doing.
They also
it
didn't
is-
take questions, so we
right.
weren't able to ask
Right.
them.
But it is public
sometimes,
record.
right? Sometimes we're able to ask them and follow up, but we weren't able to. In this case, they said it's a special.
Google Fi, a phone plan by Google. If Santa Cat made a phone plan, it would work on your new phone. If you ever get to open it, unwrap and connect your new phone in minutes with a little help from Google Fi.
If she was murdered here in Harris County, or does it matter in terms of who has jurisdiction over this case? Like if the murder happened here in Harris County, shouldn't the case be handled here locally?
It's a great question, and really everybody's been deferring everything to Austin because it's where it originated. They had the original case.
Share abroad at no extra charge with everyone back home in this, with a little help from Google Fi, a phone plan by Google.
Murder charge at some point against this woman, because we don't have it now. Got to make that clear. We don't know if
Agencies on scene last night. Didn't police just come here into Harris County on their own? Harris County investigators were working there side by side so that if
Unwrap and connect your new phone in minutes with a little help from Google Fi, a phone plan by Google.
it sounds like they got on it as soon as they were asked, and brought in the special agents, the task force that handles missing kids, and they jumped right in to this investigation with all the other agencies and brought the full force of the federal government with them, which is extensive, and especially if you're thinking you're doing a search outside of Texas. It's always great to have federal agents helping out with that as you cross state lines. But in this case, she did not go far. From Austin to Northwest Harris County here. Her body, Heidi Broussard's body, found there in the trunk of that vehicle. Early this morning, after search warrants were signed for the home and any vehicles on the property. A big question we were hoping to have answered today, and it was not, was what exactly led them to this house. We know it's owned by a man named Christopher Green and a woman who apparently no longer lives there, according to neighbors. The suspect who's been arrested lives there with him. We don't know their relationship. But something, and all they said was a lead was generated that
Right.
brought them to this home. So
I was
they're-
listening, Russ, to see if they would tell us, was it a Crime Stoppers tip? Was it a tip from family? They did not confirm any of those details.
Or was it just the fact they connected the dots between these two friends and this is where the other friend, where Heidi's friend lives.
Right. Was it law enforcement generated?
Right.
Off of their, boots on the ground.
Yeah, I think that's where most of our viewers are speculating, just trying to just understand, like, how did they come to, to the scene here in Houston area. Just wondering, what led investigators. I mean, it's the question we keep getting over and over again. And it's a question we got a lot earlier when we were on covering this. What led investigators to this home?
And keep in mind, this wasn't random. I mean, someone may have told them, hey, Heidi was friends with this woman up in Houston. I mean, this is a woman who went to prenatal appointments with her, who did things with her. So you have to assume she was around.
And if she was going to those appointments, to your point, Russ, we wonder who else knew her, family, friends of Heidi, who else knew her, because if she's going to those appointments, she is somebody in her inner circle.
So it makes sense that they would try to track down this friend of Heidi's who apparently was close enough. She's going to these, these appointments with her and things. You would want to talk to that friend, whether she was a suspect or not, about what she knew. And maybe they already had talked to her, I don't know. But it sounds like came upon her outside the home when they arrived at some point yesterday, arrested her, took her into custody at least, detained her.
Then got that search warrant to go inside. The search warrants to go
for the property, exactly. For the property, exactly. And what I wonder, hearing that part of the story, Grace, is if the custody outside the home, who's inside with Margot while they're getting search warrants, and was anybody there?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Right.
Again, law enforcement sources told me they found Margot inside the home.
Right.
And so we know she was inside. We don't know who else was there. My understanding is not clear on where Christopher Green was and all of that. But again, investigators, we talked.
Google Fi, a phone plan by Google. If SantaCat made a phone plan, it would work on your new phone. If you ever get to open it, unwrap and connect your new phone in minutes with a little help from Google Fi.
A trunk of
Medical examiner gets done, well, those questions should be answered. As far as seeing anything unusual, we only have those two neighbors to go on that who talked for quite a while to us, both of them on camera, and said nothing unusual. I mean,
nothing appeared out of place.
No, with either of them. Although they did say that Megan, they never spoke to her, and she had lived there a year and a half. They would see her, but never had a conversation with her, either of them. They did have conversations with Christopher Green, the owner of the home. The other eerie part of that was, and I don't know, Grace, if you heard this, the woman we talked to who lives next door said she's from LaGrange, not far from Austin. Mm-hmm. She had been following this story. She was wondering what in the world happened to this mom and baby.
Oh, that's
And she was concerned, and she was following it, and she just couldn't figure it out. And she goes, and then she shows up next door.
Wow.
It was amazing how this woman really knew the story. She didn't have to be told, who this was and that this woman was missing with her baby. She was watching closely.
And I think that's what's been fascinating. The story is connected with so many people. I was up a lot last night just talking to different people. Some people, investigators, other people just looking online for any sort of information they could find to kind of send investigators' way to help out, to find tips. It's really something that the general public has also been scouring the internet for.
Yeah, it's been one of those stories. I mean, the last one I remember generating this kind of interest was Malia Davis when she disappeared. And whenever so many horrible things happen in this world, but just locally that we have to cover every day. But when you start involving little kids, that just generates a new level of interest in a lot of people. And at some point, Grace, this morning we were looking up, we get live numbers on what you folks are reading on our website and our digital platforms. We had 2,000 to 3,000 people reading the story on our website at any given time, just wanting updates. And I was telling folks earlier, watching on our digital platforms right now, this is one of the rare occasions that we bring you into the newsroom and we just let this story unfold live, and we bring you the confirmed information as we get it. We typically will button it up for you in a web story or on TV. Today we're letting you see the process of this thing just unfolding and all the new information that comes in as we get it.
As you were talking about that baby, I just started thinking about that moment. We haven't seen that moment yet of her returning home, if she's going to return home to Austin, and what that will be like. So emotional for this family, for their friends, for these communities that have been involved and following this, So we do have a lot of new information today, but like you said, Russ, a lot of unanswered questions still on motive, on why, on how, on where this happened. And will anyone else be charged in this case? We know they're still conducting interviews. And will these charges stand? Will other charges be added? And when will Margot be able to return home to her family?
Cheryl Mercedes told us it's typically that CPS vetting process, looking at potential homes and people can take 30 days. But this is
Share abroad at no extra charge with everyone back home in this, with a little help from Google Fi, a phone plan by Google.
Always see somebody snatch them and take them back to where you think they belong. You have to verify identities and also verify who else. And so that when they were working the scene last night, that's what they were doing. Part of that investigation, you saw, the crime scene tape and people taking pictures, but they were also trying to verify, remove her. We have to verify her. Who she is and where we should take her, and the chain of custody for children.
Unwrap and connect your new phone in minutes with a little help from Google Fi, a phone plan by Google.
Infant, especially this young.
Medically confirm it, and we're told that could take 2 to 3 days for that to happen. So when she was just found this morning or late last night, and so it could still be a while before they're able to genetically confirm it is indeed Margot Carey, and we'll just have to wait for that. There's no way to speed that up apparently. Here in a minute, I want to recap what we know. And I know you're going to be looking into the story for the rest of today, for sure. And you'll bring us what you found, Grace, coming up on later newscast. I have to get ready for the 411 here coming up in an hour from now. It's 3 o'clock. So we
Unwrap and connect your new phone in minutes with a little help from Google Fi, a phone plan by Google.
Hurt, now in CPS custody. We also know that one woman is under arrest, Megan Fieramuska. She is a close friend of Heidi Broussard, according to law enforcement sources, and she is in Harris County and booked and charged now with kidnapping, 2 counts, and tampering with a corpse, a human corpse, 1 count. $600,000 bond is what's been set. We don't know if and when she will be taken back to Travis County for what's going on there with charges, but we're thinking that's going to happen at some point. So we have crews all over the place today looking into all these questions. We'll answer what we can starting in less than an hour here on the 411 on the TV side. Keep it here digitally on KHOU as well. If you don't have your push notifications on our app, that's a great way to find out when we're about to go live here with updates. So Grace, thank you very much for giving us your insight on
Yeah,
this story.
fascinating case. We'll stay on it.
Yeah, tough one too. And we'll see you on the TV side here in just about an hour.
All right, well, that concludes their coverage. I am very happy that the baby has, or that has her family. Absolutely. That they have her and she has them. That's the only good thing. But thanks for tuning in with me. I'm actually going to end this live stream here, and we will keep you posted. I'm going to be covering this case extensively, so make sure you are subscribed and that you've hit the little solid notification bell so that you get notifications when my channel goes live. So make sure that you hit like on your way out and subscribe, and we will be following this case as it unfolds. I'm sure that soon we'll have positive ID and we'll be able to confirm that. Sally Jones says, thanks, Jay. I don't like anyone and you have won me over. Thank you, you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Be safe.